Today we are outputting using BlueJ and basic Java. Very, very basic Java, the beginning stuff that you need to know to move on. Okay, so I'm clicking new class, creating something random. I hit Control A. So if I hit Control A, it means select all, and it deletes, and then I'll hit the delete button and it deletes it all. So keystrokes are extremely important in computer programming, and Control A is the first one that you should know. So the first thing I'd like to go over again is the comment. So this is a multi-line comment right here. That means that when you have a slash and a star, and it ends with a star and a slash, anything that you put in here, so anything that you put in here is completely ignored by the computer programmer, Miss Barris, it's completely ignored by the computer, but it might be useful to the computer programmer. So comments are an extremely important part of programming, but not to the computer. Okay, it's for the programmer. So remember to start. We always start with public class. That starts a class. I'm going to call this output program. Right, we need these curly brackets. I always open and then go a couple down and close it, just so I don't forget to close it, because it does cause a problem if you do. Okay, and then we need public static void main. There are other kinds of programs out there, and we're going to do a bunch of them. But right now we're just doing a simple output program, and so we need this public static void main to do it. Okay, that again needs an open and close curly bracket. It will automatically indent for you if you go from here and hit enter, which is nice because that allows you to keep your code organized. Alright, so to output. Output is system.out.print or .println. So we'll show you what the difference between those two are first. So print, I'm just going to go hey. Okay, close the parentheses and then end it with the semicolon. So this would just output hey on the computer screen. Doesn't really do much for you. What I like to do is I like to highlight something I'm going to be doing over and over and over again and hitting Control C. Control C is an automatic copy. C is in cat. C. And then Control V will paste it. So that's a V is in victory. And I can just write you guys. Now to run it, remember you compile. And it says down here, no syntax errors. That's nice. Okay, right click. Go to void main, okay, and hey you guys. Just notice that it prints out exactly what you want. The print means it does not go to the next line. So everything you type, even though I wrote it on 2 lines, it's going to only write it on 1. And any spacing that I do, notice I did not put any spaces after hey or before you, so it all mushed together. So what I can do is right here, put a little space, and when I run it, oh, I hate you every time. There we go. And then when I run this guy, now there's a space. You could have done it after hey or before you, doesn't matter. Alright? So we'll put output stays on same line. Okay, notice this turned gray just like this did. Okay, this is a different kind of comment. So let's just put this up here. The 2 slashes like that, those are 2, forward slashes? Those are called, these are a single line comment. That means if I hit enter, it's no longer a comment and it thinks it's part of the program. Okay? So, if the next thing I do, say I want to do some math because that's the other thing you can do in an output, and that's the other thing we will be doing today, is some math. So I'm going to do 12 plus 7. That's fantastic. Now if I run this, and this is a slightly annoying part of BlueJ, you have to close it out and do all this mess to run it. Notice that the 19 did not go to the next line, which is what I would like it to have done. So come over here. If I make this a print ln, at the end of this line right here, the computer is going to basically hit enter. Okay. You can do that whenever you want it to move to the next line. You use the ln, and anytime you don't, if you want to keep it on the same line like we did here, you do. Okay, you use the you don't use the ln. Okay, so I do 12 plus 7. Like I know, I want you to add it. But what happens is, if I want to make this a little bit more fancy, I do 12 plus 7 equals, and I'm spacing it out all nice. I want to output this, remember, in quotes here, that's called string. It's outputting exactly what's within the quotes. Over here, this I wanted to do math. Okay? Since I'm changing the kind of output, I'm doing this and then this, two different things. One's just a string, one's math. I have to put a plus sign in between it. So you can see this is going to cause a slightly bit of an issue because this is a plus sign and this is a plus sign. They do two different things. This one is saying, okay, I want to go from a string to math, and this one is saying, I want to do math. So what happens is the computer gets confused, or the compiler, or BlueJ, whatever. Okay, and it actually just continues along thinking that the 12 and the 7 are strings. And it just puts them together like woodchuck, like a wood and a chuck, put it together. Okay, so if we want it to be math after we've already done a string, you have to put parentheses around it. And as a general rule, use parentheses, I don't know how to spell that, parentheses in math. Okay, whenever you're doing math, put it in parentheses and then you won't have an issue. Okay. So if I run this guy, 19 now, which is what I want. So now it's nice and pretty, 12 plus 7 equals 19. Okay, so that's the basic idea. If you want to do math, put it in parentheses. Okay, any kind of math, if I want to multiply, add, subtract, so it's not confused. Okay, and then finally, as just a general reminder, any time you change the type of output, you need to use, and notice I have to, since I hit enter, I have to do that again. You have to use the plus sign. Okay, and that's called the concatenation operator. The operators are, like plus, minus, equals. They just tell you what two things are, one thing is going to do. Okay, so that means, let's paste this out here. Alright, I don't want this, my next line of code, to be on the same line with this, so I'm just going to make this an ln also. So after this is over, it hits enter, comes down here. So say I want to do so let's do -1 is, so notice I put -1 is a number, so I have to put the plus sign because I'm going to write is 8 minus, oh no, yeah, 8 minus 9. Okay, I'm awesome at this. I like spacing, I like things all spread out, so I'm going to do that. Plus, so remember, every time I switch, this is a number, this is a, oh, sorry, this is a string. Now I'm going to do, say, some math. I don't know, whatever. I had something good here, now I forgot. Okay. Whatever. This is not 1. But something else. Whatever. Okay. So notice, I think you can see it through me. This is actually kind of a good place to do this. I need spaces because I have issues with that. I need to have my spacing on either side of words and letters, so I do want to do that. What's interesting though, this is running over into my face here, and maybe you want to see it. You can hit enter here, and when you compile it, it still doesn't have any issues. So I don't have to end this line with a semicolon because it thinks it's just continuing on, which is pretty cool. You can have a really long sentence, or we're going to do like a Mad Lib, and we'll be able to just make it one long paragraph instead of doing 97 print lns or prints. Okay, so when we compile this, it's going to do all the different things over and over. -1 is 8 minus 9, not 1, but something else, whatever. So I went from a number to a word to math to another word to another number to some string, like all different things. So anytime you change from one kind of output to another, you need to use the plus sign for the concatenation operator. All right.